Alright guys, so we're changing the batteries in the 120, so I thought I'd do a back to the basics video and show you the sort of procedure we'll use in changing the batteries, and I suppose the important parts, and that is I just want to reiterate how important it is. The battery needs to be secured. So for this, I'll grab it and it's not moving anywhere, right? I'll put you in a different place so you can see what's going on. Right, so what I'm saying is, I grab this. See, it's not moving. It's nowhere near the heat as well. There's a bit of airflow going on there. It's secured. It's well secured. Yeah, the bracket's not in the center. I don't care about that because I've got the battery this way because I want the battery sitting up on the support of the guard, not hanging over the edge and not any closer to the heat of the radiator hose than it needs to be, okay? Obviously being close, that heat is gonna have an effect on the battery also. So to change the battery, what are we going to do? First thing we're going to do, we're going to cut these zip ties from this is my compressor that's over the other side, goes direct to, I treat the compressor a bit like a winch. You want the shortest wire possible and you want it direct to your main cranking battery because it's got the best connection to your alternator and charging system, okay? Because winches do hammer batteries. Compressor not so much, but it makes a big difference. I suggest, doesn't matter if you got your accessory that side, you want to keep it shorter on that side, that's good as well. But just keep it short. Try not to extend your wires. People that run them from inside, if you got it inside the car to your rear battery, that's one thing. If you're running wires to the front, extending them, not so good. But look, whatever. Anyway, this video is not about that. We're going to cut the zip ties. We're going to take the negative off first. Always we take the negative off first. Why? You put a spanner to the positive. The positive can create sparks. You don't want to create sparks, right? And shorts can damage things, including batteries can explode in some cases. So it's always the earth, the negative or earth, that's connected to the vehicle. The whole vehicle's earth. So think of the negative, the black if you like. The whole vehicle is negative. There's a number of earths. We're not going to do that in this video. But by disconnecting this, it may or may not fully disconnect the battery because we've also got an earth on the other battery. So what we're going to do here, we're going to disconnect our main battery, negative, tuck that out of the way, cut the zip ties. We're going to disconnect our positive, tuck that out of the way. Obviously, we're going to loosen off our clamp, slip the battery out, and put the new one in and reconnect it all. But before we do, connect this one. While this one's out, we're going to disconnect. We're going to disconnect obviously the black, the negative on the blue battery. Probably helps if you can see what's going on. So we're going to disconnect the negative here as well. Look, all these accessories are going to come off anyway. So what I'm going to do is I just keep these little black caps on there because anything that helps, and they just sit there. You could bump them and they fall off, but I just figure, it's a little reminder what side's what and whatever. But so yeah, what we'll do is we'll just disconnect all our our battery monitor and our what do we got here? We've got our UHF, we've got our wire that goes to the back of the fridge, and we've got another wire that goes across into the front of the car for some USBs. Like, keep it simple. It's just really simple, straightforward, reliable. No big fuse box things to go rusty in this vehicle. No DC chargers. That's the SB112 sitting here. If we want to connect the two together, we just go like that and it connects. You've seen that in other videos. So we're going to proceed to disconnect all the terminals and remove the clamp. Do I need to show you this? Yeah, I'll probably come back to you and show you a bit anyway. So I've been trying to keep the videos down to about 10 minutes for you so that, trying to have a balance. I know some people, they only want to hang around a couple of minutes, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Some people want to sit there for hours and gather all the information. So I've been trying to balance it out at about 2 minutes. I hope everyone can appreciate that. But it's not always possible, and this is one of those videos. Look, it's simple as changing the batteries. If you know how to change batteries, you can leave, but you might just learn something, and this is for the people that want to learn the basics and whatever, and if you want to watch me do a small job and how I roll on our own vehicles, but it's no big deal. It's just, it's just changing over some batteries. So from memory, there's a lot of different sizes here. So what did I say I was going to do first? Cut these zip ties. So we'll get rid of those because we can't get that battery out of the way. The clamps, the zip ties are under the clamp. So let's back those off from memory. What are they looking at? 13s or 12s? Let's go with 13, I reckon. Yep, that'll do it. So look, we'll back those off. Alright, you know what, should we just take them right out at this point? There's another zip tie down there I've just found actually, so I'll cut that. See guys, plenty of zip ties. There's your first little tip. Secure your wiring, you know what I mean? Zip ties are cheap. Do it once, do it properly. Like even when you cut them to take them off, do it once, do it properly. Okay, so getting these zip ties out of the way. Look, I really want to just disconnect the battery because, you know, even working around the battery. Now, I'm not the person that, I just want to say the thread on the end, there's nothing left there because when we purchased the vehicle, there was other accessories hanging off there with another nut. It was a bit ridiculous, really. Now, when you disconnect and reconnect batteries, you're going to get a few little sparks there. You don't want it going crazy. It's best avoided, and the reasons why is because batteries, not so much these sealed batteries, right? Just get it off clean like that, and then don't bang around and touch it and leave it sitting there where it might touch. Let's do us all a favour and kind of like, at the moment, we're just going to sort of tuck it down and push it back like that. Yeah, it bends that wire a little bit, so what? It's a tough wire. We want it down there where it's not going to come back on at the moment until at least we get some other stuff disconnected. Now, let's get the cover off this one because we need to do that anyway. Right, if we can push it back a little bit like that to get it out of the way. Right, so let me get this out of the way now. Just thinking out loud, right? Because that's how we roll. Right? So that's ready to come off. So let's just pop that out of the way, right? It's just a nice, strong. I think that's a projector one. If you're wondering what it is, this clamp. I think it's steel. It's powder coated. It's got nice wide support. I estimate that's about what 80 mil long. So it just spreads the load instead of clamping the battery. The genuine ones are not bad, but I like these better. I've got it on both batteries, the same sort of clamp system. So you know what? We'll just zip that back as well, but I'm going to try not to take the nut off because that's where you can start losing nuts and washers, right? So there's your other tip, don't take it all the way off. I could be wrong too, you know, there's probably a better way to do this. I'm just taking the clip off. There's a piece of the wire where the wiring comes past. That's, I should just try and bring it up to show you, but you're not going to be able to see it anyway, I don't think. But look, what I'll do, I'll just move the battery a little bit, hopefully. So this is changing batteries, right? And you get to see that it's not always that easy, and it's not necessary. There, we got lucky this time. Yeah, so there's a clip. There's a wiring loom with a clip there, which, because it's me, of course, I'm just going to use a 10 mil spanner because that's what I've got handy. Try and open it up a little bit because that's what I do. I put clips and clamps, you know. I'm not the engineer. Toyota are the engineers. I could probably engineer some stuff too, but that's not my job. My job is trying to help you guys, and careful you don't touch it between the two terminals. Same story as everything else, right? Look, you know, it's powder coated, but still, right? So we want to be careful taking it out, right? Bada bing, right? So there it is. There's the clamp and there's the bolt. I'll just put that aside as well. Remembering that is the shorter bolt, okay? The shorter side. Now we need to obviously crack that side there loose. So now well, I'm not going to say we're safe because we probably, if we want to be 100% safe from shorting anything out, we probably need to disconnect the other one because if you think it through, let me think. So the positive, yeah, the positive comes to this one, the negative goes to earth. So if we were to go from positive to earth, the isolator's disconnected there. So we're isolated. I'm thinking too hard now. It's starting to make my brain hurt. Now I think I might just grab a flat blade. Now, every now and then you hear a rumour or you read something on the internet, someone's carrying on, you know, all the bad news is on it. My Optima's crap, you know, the terminal. They're trying to say these terminals broke off. This terminal, mate, it ain't going to break off, right? You know, this one's 5.5 years old. Now, what people do is they over-tighten these. This is just lead. And once you start crushing into this, it actually rips the lead. And, of course, it's like really fatigues it, and then they're trying to get, instead of they're yanking like this, and if you've fatigued it and wrecked it, just get your screwdriver and open it up a little bit. We're going to open up the nut a little bit more too, actually. Give the nut a little bit more. So people are in too much of a rush. You need to slow down. Spend an extra, if you want, get your ratchet one. I could have got my ratchet one, but right, let's just go, let's get the ratchet one anyway, just because we can. Bang, not far away. Oh no, that's not the ratchet one, that's the, all right. So we'll ditch the snap-on one and we'll bring in the, you know, whatever, right? So if you want to be quick, you can go for it, whatever. Anyway, it's loose enough now. Just going to open this up a little bit more rather than force the terminal, and then hopefully it'll just come off fairly easy, all right? See this one here, it's about to come back on. You've been watching that, have you? You've been watching that. So just try and keep that away and whatever, right? So this one, now we've got this awkward wire over the top, which we could separately disconnect as well, but I reckon we can get this battery out. It's obviously good if you've got a helper. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. They're not going to touch. I'm going to grab the handle off the other red battery. It's always handy to have your carry handle to lift a battery out, right? So obviously we'll put it in the hard side first. I'll take a guess. Or should I just get the light and have a look and see what I'm doing? Usually works better. What's going on here? What am I doing? I'm trying to put the handle the same way the clamp goes. No wonder that's not working out for me. You idiot. Right, now, I'm sticking it down there going, why isn't that hooking in? Wrong side, you idiot. You fool. Alright, so, there it is. We've got our handle connect. We've got a handle ready to pull it out. Yeah, they're pretty close to touching, so be careful of that, right? Not really gonna matter too much, but it's always good if you've got a helper, right? If you've got a helper, I haven't got a helper at the moment. Alright, so, awkwardly as possible, right? You could just undo that nut and take this wire off, but I reckon out she comes, like so. Go and place it on the bench. That's one out. Okay, you can see the other one from there as well. So, and while it's out, we'll do a bit of cleaning and checking. Oh, that's awesome there. That's a nice little, we'll get our bit of old maroon carpet. It's pressed down into that tray. A few leaves and that. Everything's looking pretty good, but we'll just go through and check and make sure all our wiring, there's no rubbing or any damage like that. So we're going to take these two little kind of like condoms off, red and black. Now from memory, I just already loosened these off. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to hold the pressure. Actually, I'm going to slip that one straight out, the battery monitor. I'm going to hold the pressure of the terminals down. So remember we talked about the sparks, not a big deal, but when batteries are flat, depending what battery, they can put off a lot of explosive gases, and all it takes is a spark for the battery to explode. Batteries do explode, guys, so don't muck around, think it's a bit of a joke and that, you know. People do, and usually you're going to get lucky. Now, I've got some more zip ties here I probably should have cut first, so you might see a few little sparks fly there. That's all right. We'll pretend we're scared or ignore it, either one, whatever works for you. Oh! Right, it's just sort of like 12 volt, this battery. Fairly safe. Again, the zip tie, here it is, get that out. We've got a few zip ties going on here because I think some accessories were added, some were added later, like this is the solar input, okay? This is out for our projector battery charger, which we don't need here anymore, so we'll take it off and we'll put it on the other vehicle because we've got a charger mounted in the back of the vehicle that plugs directly into our charging system with this one now. So if we can, see what we've got it all set up. You know what? I'm going to be better off taking this off now, getting this out of the way. So you've got to make it up as you go. Right? What size is that? It's probably a 12 mil. We've got a 12 mil handy. Yeah, I've got a 12 mil handy. Let's see if 12 mil fits the bill. No, it doesn't actually. It'll be a 1/2 inch because it's got to be unmetric. But you know what? I'll grab a 13, which is a little bit too big, and we'll see how she feels. See if it's going to be happy, so that, you know, then you know you can just use your metric tools. Can't even get the ring spanner in. There you go. See, not too bad. So I said, we don't over tighten them. Look, tight enough it wasn't moving anyway, right? But just tight, and that's how tight you do them. Don't leave things loose, but just tight enough it doesn't move. You don't need to tighten it up. And this is the problem. People cause problems, and then they want to blame, oh, my Optima battery or whatever brand it is. It's crap. Look what happened to me. No, look what you did to it. Look what you did to it. Guys, there's always a reason. Right? Believe it, there's always a reason, and I'll tell you what the reasons are if you want to have a listen, like now. Thanks for your support. I do appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and I hope you're enjoying it. enjoying the education. See what I mean? We're just opening that up a little bit instead of yanking on it and trying to rip the terminal. And look how easy that came. A little bit of corrosion there. Yeah, it could do with a clamp. This is a pretty old crappy terminal, I've got to tell you. It was on the vehicle. But it's not too bad. We'll give it a clean up and reuse it. That basically just goes direct from one battery to the other, because it's really kind of an awesome earth because it's direct to the battery, and that battery's earth direct to the body. So why would you do anything else is kind of how I think. But anyway, so we're completely safe. We've got all our batteries disconnected. So best option now is probably to disconnect this side as well. So let's do that carefully so we don't wreck the boots. Now, where did that 12mm go? 13 was it? Whatever we're using, I don't remember. Whatever's closest. Let me see. This is a 12. Let's try the 12. I think it's not going to fit. That's right. We went for a 13. So where did that 13 go? Okay. So you can see how long this short video, just a quick video changing batteries, right? Now might be a good time to press pause. Give us a thumbs up and go and grab yourself another beer, because it's not going to be done anytime soon. And hopefully, okay, so we're just going to try and open that up a little bit again. All right. It's just like, what is it? Battery terminals, brass, right? And that should come off really easy like that. We're just going to sit, I always like to sit it in a safe place where it's not touching the body anyway, okay? So if you're not sure, if you haven't been watching other videos, this wire here, this is our blue wire that basically comes from the SBI 12, which when you connect it to the positive source, it connects and joins the two batteries together. Worst case scenario, you've got a flat battery or your main cranking battery fails, that will then use this battery to start the vehicle. So let's loosen off this other nut, just so we can slip this iDrive battery monitor off. This is the iDrive brand one. They retail for about 60 bucks. There's plenty of brands, what they say, same what, different bucket, you know what I mean? I'm not sure how waterproof they are, but I've wet it. I haven't had any problems yet. It's part of the R&D. That's what I'll do. I'll R&D things and I'll let you know, maybe not recommended, but you can if you like. Now, what do we got here? We've got one by one, I'm going to take them off. That one, that's the solar input. That's that Anderson plug. I'll call it the solar input. You know what, I'm going to loosen them all off. And just so you can see, a little bit of added information for anyone that gives us stuff. And I'm sure some people don't, and they're gone already. But for those that do, right, there's the solar input, if you like. Just sit that there. We've got another zip tie, so we'll cut that. Some people think this is untidy, but you know what? It's actually quite reliable and tidy. So it's opposite of what you think, By having that fuse box thing you don't need, So look, at the end of the next item, well, this isn't next actually. What's next? The next one, let's get these off one by one. So this is this wire, simple as that, right? It runs across the top there into the vehicle and powers the USB. So there's your USB power, right? I'm going to park those up here out of the way, right? Simple as that. And yes, you're right, there's no fuse on that, right? There's no fuse on it. There's fuse once you get to the car, but look, this is well insulated. You can see it, it's not rubbing anywhere. Maybe I'm risky, but that's the risk I'm prepared to take when I think I know what I'm doing. We go through a grommet in the firewall, double insulated wire, and there's fuses obviously at the accessory ends, whatever anyway, and this is all, as I said, it's well zip tied and secured. The wires behind the wiring limb out of the way of any heat, rubbing, it's just not going to happen, okay? So next one is that charger for the little projector maintenance charger, right? You know what I'm talking about? Have I got one handy to show you? Where are they? One's over there and one's in the car. So that's the wire that comes with the projector charger you can leave on your battery, and then that's just handy to sit there and you come click, plug it in. So I'm going to put that on the 150, okay, because we don't need it here anymore, because this vehicle has got the charger mounted in the back of the vehicle. And last but not least, well, not last, this is the UHF. This will be power for the UHF. So that one right there, again, need to cut another another zip tie. The man's zip tie crazy. Yes, correct. A bit hard to get out from under the bracket, so what we're going to do is, from memory these were 2 different sizes as well, I'm going to unzip this a little bit. Yep, just enough now really to lift it up to get this zip tie out from underneath. Right, there it is. Ouch, ouch. Hit me in the finger, the zip tie, sprung back at me. Anyway, yeah, a bit dodgy here. I don't know what happened at some point. Maybe the wires were too short or what, but Captain Anthony has used some spade terminals. This, I'm pretty sure, is the power for the UHF. Yeah, it'll go straight through this hole here. So that's direct to the, I like to go the accessory battery because there's always a little bit of power draw and it'll look after my cranker 100%. It's not what it's designed for. This battery can handle it, and it's not much draw anyway, but it is there. And also, if I want to leave the UHF on, it'll stay on. I think it automatically powers off after 4 hours. Say I'm at camping, I'm listening for someone arriving. Yeah, I'll be on channel 10. Give us a yell in case you can't find us or whatever. I might be just scanning, whatever the case may be. And you get out of the car, restart the engine, it resets radio sometimes with it connected here. You don't have any of those issues. So there's other information included besides just whatever. So we'll just sit that one over here as well, wrapping it around those new bonnet struts that don't hold the bonnet up that well. No, they do actually. They've improved a little bit. So, and of course this last but not least is the positive wire, and that was there, and it's got a fuse on it because it runs all the way to the back of the vehicle. That's our wire that supplies power to the back of the vehicle. So we're just going to tuck that one down out of the way for the time being. And we've just about got this battery out. We just need to, we'll take, is that a bolt to take out? From memory that's a 12mm, you know, because whoever set this vehicle up, or this ARB bracket, I don't know who's doing what. I don't know if I'm going to drop a nut here or what, but yeah, it doesn't see what I mean, it's painful. Be good if there was a proper fixed nut there. The nut's spinning, so we're going to need to get a spanner. I'll take a guess that it might be a 13, seeing as the one on top's a 12. Can't fit that spanner in there, that's a pain. Okay. Fun and games, right, so that's spinning. Take a guess what size it is. We need a short one. I've got some cheap crap spanners that are a bit shorter. I'll go and grab one of those. We'll grab a 12 and a 13. Let's see if we can get, yeah, might not be that one. I reckon 13 is going to do the job. Just drop him there for a minute. Bring the impact driver back, which means we're going to drop a nut as well if we take it all the way out, if we're not careful, so be careful. So, pretty safe to say that bolt's out. Need to have an upgraded system for that. And what do we got here? Just a nut or a washer as well? It's just a nut by the looks of it. Bit of dirt there with that. Yep. And then this one, it might be unhooking from further down, I don't know. Oh, it seems to want to stay there. So what we'll do is, we'll just back it off all the way. That's right, that was a different size, wasn't it? All these different, I think I've used just about a whole spanner set to change 2 batteries, but we'll back this right off without going all the way, hopefully, so that I can maneuver it out of the way and get the battery out, and we're going to go all the way. Let me see. Say, oh, changing batteries, mate, how much is that? Oh, 150 bucks. What? To change a battery? Well, 2 batteries, lots of wires, lots of mucking around, as you can see. So just want to add that bit of information there for you as well. Everything takes time, and if you want it put back neatly, that's, you know, it's what it takes. If I drop that, I'm going to lose it. So you know what I'll do? Yeah, did you think of it before me? I'll put that nut back on. That way I can just sit that there. Hopefully it won't go too far. That battery's ready to lift out. I could lift it, but But you know what I'm going to say, it's going to be easy with that handle, isn't it? So, we'll grab the handle off the new battery. Hopefully, tight fit. Okay, finally got the handle off the battery. I'll slip that down, which is going to be the hard. This is going to be, could be a bad idea actually. Could be a bad idea. Where's this wire going? What's that one again? What's this wire? Oh, okay, I'll tell you what that is. That's for the Anderson plug that's not connected. Okay, that's cool. See, all taped up even though there's no power to it or anything. How good's that? I don't know if this is going to be the easy way or the hard way. Okay, we've got the handle on that side. So we just need to give it a good pull up and a stretch down, and hopefully we'll get it in. Yep, by feel, that's it. Now we've got a handle. Those ones are 20 kilos. The red's 17 and the blue's 20, if I remember correctly. Okay. Not bad looking batteries really. I'll take a quick look there. What do we got in here? Got a bit of carpet we're sitting on. Got a black cap that must have got dropped down there. I think that was caps we used for the... So it's a red arc SB. Is it called an SBI 12 or an SB... What's it called? SB 12 something anyway. 12 volt DC, 100 amp. Bloody nice little unit. I'll check the nuts aren't. Nope, they're all tight. Nothing loose there. I'll bring the camera in and show you actually, because for those people that want to know and want to see, there's somebody that wants to see, so let's do it. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the cranking battery not there at the moment. Alright, I'll show you the, if you didn't know about it, the guard crack. See the end of the crack there? You can't see it, right? You need to watch the other videos. But we drilled at the end of the crack and we put some steel weld on there thinking it might help dampen the blow a little bit. I think we drove it too soon before we let it set. It was meant to be to try out a cheap fix, trying to help people out that need a cheap fix. The guard crack thing is not a big deal anyway, especially if you get to it, drill the hole and stop it. I'm not worried about it at all whatsoever. You can see, got a bit of carpet, rubber. It's like an old, it's actually an old floor mat. Right, so it's rubber underneath, carpet on top. You can see where the battery's been sitting to give it that extra bit of buffer. You can see the red arc there. All right, that is the unit. Simple as that. Very reliable. This one, 12 years old. Okay, Australian company, so we like it. It's simple. It's reliable. Probably a bit pricey for what they are, but it's a small price for reliability. Something's going to last you like forever. They're probably the most popular isolator. And I've never seen a problem with one, okay? I've never seen a problem with one. I'm sure there's the odd problem, but if I haven't seen one, the odds are good, is what I'm saying. You can see where my wires go through with the grommet in place, right? Corrugated split tubing on just about everything that matters. Notice I said just about. Nothing's rubbing on anything, whatever. So just have a think about that, guys, with all your positive wires. You can see over here, generally, yeah, everything covered kind of thing. You know, got a few old bits, you know, a bit of coax there, whatever. We'll tidy all that up. I'll just go and do all that, and I'll come back to you when we're putting the batteries back in, eh? Alright, so time to get these batteries back in. What we've done is just given in here a clean up and got some new rubber, and just to bring it up a little bit higher. So a bit of padding for the battery to absorb some of the vibrations and stuff. And this battery tray with the Optimas, is a bit lower than the tray, so the bracket was holding it, but it wasn't that tight when this was all the way down, so it's going to lift the battery up a little bit. So it's time to get that battery back in. So, which way does it go again? So hopefully, yeah, it's sitting up a bit better now. Hopefully that works. So we'll get the handle off, we don't need that anymore. Whoops, gotta lose some tools because we left those up there in the way. a little bit difficult to get the handle on. Okay, so we'll just sit that in the correct position. I think putting the clamp on not sure which one's which, but I think they're the same. So yeah, that's better. Bringing the battery up a little bit. There's a space there. Before it was flush against the metal sort of thing. It's going to be like I'm talking to someone else for you guys, right? But of course I'm talking to the camera. I'm not talking to anyone else. If someone happens to answer me, it's just other voices in my head. I just put on another voice every now and then. So for the rest of the video, for those of you loyal subscribers that are watching for the maximum information all the way to the end, I'm actually going to put on a voice. I'm going to talk to myself, ask myself questions, and answer in a different voice, just for a bit of entertainment. All right, so while trying to hold that up, sit that over there. If that works out, it's not going to work. Spin it around the other way. There's always a reason. I don't know why that's different at one end to the other. Didn't notice that before, but it is. Interesting. The other one? The other one's not like that. Interesting. Anyway, there you go. Now, where did that bolt go? The dodgy bolt that they used before. Okay, that's here. There's a washer now. Where did I put the nut? There was a nut that came out from under there. I just need to find that. Here it is. Had you worried? No, it had me worried. Were you worried?
No.
Right. Let's see if I can get this bracket. Oh, this is dodgy as. What's going on? What have I done here? That doesn't work either. So it's got to go the other way. What would I know? Oh, I've got to fit the other side through, because this doesn't kind of reach out. Yeah, that's a bit bizarre actually. I'm going to try it the other way. So if you try and do this yourself, because I showed you, can be a few little dramas here actually, because oh yeah, that's going to fit through there now. Ah, that'll work better. Yes, so it must only go that way. What's going on there? This bracket must be a special one that comes with an ARB bracket. It's got a longer reach at this side, which initially I had trouble getting this bolt through, but it worked fine, and it's got the longer reach over to there. So I think you know what I mean. I'm going to hold this nut without dropping it underneath here, through the hole into there. Yeah, important information coming soon. We don't need to super over tighten the battery. It's like battery terminals, it's like a lot of things. Just tight enough to secure the battery. You can see that's not secure, right? I'm just thinking if I want it backwards or forwards or anything. Where do I want it? It's good to get more room, have it forwards. Then if I go backwards, it's supporting the middle of the battery. It doesn't really matter about the middle too much. I think I'll leave it forwards. Decisions. I'm just going to take up some of the slack with this. Okay, it's just made contact now, right? You can see, still moving a little bit. We're going to go a little bit on each side. So I'm just going to bring this down, because we've got to get the spanner underneath, remember. A little bit painful, this one. We're just going to... Remember, it's a nylock nut, so just because we're putting a bit of pressure on that doesn't mean it's tight. So yeah, that's definitely going in. Let's zip it back out a bit. Okay, that's not super tight because it actually moves still. I was able to move it. And it's important to tighten them down evenly, one side at a time. So you can see this side's moving a lot more easily, but this side hasn't got the leverage this bolt's got either. It's got a lot of rubber underneath it, so it's not going to hurt if we give it a little bit more than what we normally would. So we're going to grab, see if we can find a 12mm spanner. Now, which was the 12mm? This one or this one? Because it has to be different sizes just to make things a bit harder, you know. And the whole thing's turning, of course, so we get our dodgy spanner that goes underneath. I just want to have it do it by hand to have a feel of how tight it actually feels. It doesn't feel very tight at all, actually, so that's good. But it's not moving on that side yet, so I need to find another. Actually, we can use that. Over here, we can use this 13. Again, not very tight at all, so I'm going to give it a few cranks before I think it still moves. So you just want to go slowly. And the mistake I'm making at the moment, I'm going to need a zip tie to this, so I kind of can't tighten that down until I've connected all my terminals. So, first one was the power going to the back of the car. You're not going to see any sparks yet because we haven't connected the other side. So we'll go ahead and put that on. What was this one? This was the power to the USBs at the front of the vehicle, so that can go there. And we'll throw this on as well. So let's just, for fun, let's have a look. You might see a few little, tiny little sparks. No, not enough to get anything that you'll be able to see in a camera in the video. Okay, what else have we got? This was the Anderson plug that's not connected, so we'll tuck that back down out of the way. Okay, what do we got here? What was this again? This was the UHF. Right, for whatever reason it's like that, some old wires or something, I don't know. Ready for, oh, I know what it was for. Actually, I remember why I added those in now. What was that in? It was for something else, some other accessory had that I wanted to be able to just unplug this and plug that in. Can't remember what it was anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's a non-issue. It works. Some people are feeling sick about now, but you get that. You stay on there, please. We're just about done. Power to the back, power to the back. We've got another one. Have I lost one? I feel like I'm missing something. So we've got the USBs, the UHF, the power to the back. Yes, this, which will come on later. I knew there was another one. So we'll get this nut started. Okay, same with this one. Get that nut started, because if I remember correctly, that's all the wires we're connecting at this side. Able to zip tie all that down later. And this we're just going to sit over the top of everything else. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have to re-Bluetooth that or something, because I've had it disconnected for an amount of time. Could be the case. Stick that in underneath there. Right. Well, is this just having a look at this to make sure nothing's going to be in the way. Nothing in the way of anything there. So we'll just slip that on now anyway, maybe. I can still get to the nuts. We'll push that. The key thing, guys, connecting terminals, pushing it all the way down before you tighten it up. Instead of, some people are lazy, they don't loosen them off properly like we did earlier. So just get it on an angle that it's out of the way of everything. Nice and neat. We'll grab a, what size was that one again? Probably a 1/2 inch. Unmetric, 1/2 inch unmetric, so we're going to use a 13mm metric. A little bit too big, but we're not going to need to over tighten it that much anyway, so give it a few nips. You know, we gave it a fair loosen off to make sure we got the terminal off clean without damaging those lead terminals. Now that's probably tight enough, so we'll just go a couple more, maybe. That was sort of one and a bit. Look, I don't think that's going anywhere. It's not going to stop the vehicle if it does. Alright, that's good. Put that cover over the positive. Beautiful. So you're not a decent sized job changing batteries, isn't it? A little bit more time than what we thought. Not just a quick slap bang job. We'll get to the zip ties afterwards. Right. Okay, so while we tighten that up, soon as that one can just pull out. What size was that? Where's that spanner gone? Doesn't look like any of those. I'm sure it's going to be bigger than a 13. So where did my spanner go for that? Interesting. Lucky we've got spanners handy. Okay, so we're going to keep the iDrive battery monitor wire pushed in while we just nip these up. Never over tighten these, important information. It's just into lead, and if you over tighten it, if you do it up really tight, what would be good is nylocks, to be quite honest. I don't know why they come with these sort of nuts, but wing nuts are rubbish as well, so put nuts on there, but don't hang off the nut and try and over tighten it. Right, just very lightly. When you feel that it's home like that, that's it. And I'm just going to go a bit extra because I do the, not R&D, we do the research, R&T, research and tell you. So I'm just going to go quite firm, that is, and I didn't have any issues, but it's not that firm. You can see where I'm holding the spanner. It's, you know, halfway down, you know, kind of like I'm not going up here, going, because that's where you're going to pull that stud straight out of the battery. Not good. Right, so that positive side all secured. And my light's just gone flat, useless bloody light. Anyway. Oh, no, I did forget another one, see? I knew there was something missing. I knew it. Okay, so let's get our Anderson plug in position as well. So we'll have to undo that again. So that was good practice. I sort of had a feeling I knew something was missing. That other little wire for the battery charger, that's been installed on the 150 already. So to get this one on, we need to take the nut all the way off. Look at that. Like magic, we've got some light coming back into play. So things happen slowly does it. Because of course I put that in the way, now that's going to be in the way and it's going to not want to go on because it's on an angle. So we'll just pull that around, get that nice and square, and it's on top of the iDrive one, doesn't matter. We're just going to make sure we keep the iDrive blade pushed in because it's a slide in slide out one, so we're just going to make sure it's all pushed in. I'll put the other one on while we're at it as well. Yeah, I don't know why they don't just put a proper I terminal on. I always prefer those. I don't really like the push on, the slide in like a spade type terminal. Yeah, I don't know why. Why did you do that, iDrive? Anyway, we've got our Anderson plug back there. We're going to need that because we are going to be applying solar to this battery directly through one of those cheap regulators that generally sometimes do the job. Alright, so pushing that one in, what we did before. Beautiful. Okay, this one, same story, we'll just push it around. Where's this going to go again? Where does this go? That's going to sit like that, so it's not going to be in the way of anything, so that's cool. So we'll just nip that now as well. Bit extra just for you. And then I've got my little red condoms that I like to put on just because I can. So, not that they do much on a battery. Okay, battery monitor's sitting there. We're going to get some zip ties onto this afterwards. Okay, so we could connect this battery now, but we won't. We'll just leave it disconnected for now. Get the other one in place. Let me see, what are you looking at? You can see what we're doing over there, both batteries there, that was the idea. Okay, now I've got some other rubber here, a bit of additional rubber for my tray. Before I had a bit of marine carpet on top of the plastic just to give it a, just so it doesn't rub and whatever. I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to put that back. Also got another nice piece of rubber that's a little bit shorter, which is fine. The width isn't quite there, but I think it's going to go good actually. So I think I'm going to ditch the old marine carpet. We'll give this rubber here a try. I think it's going to be good. As long as the rods are long enough, whatever. So we'll bring the, this is the part that's a little bit awkward on my own, but that's okay. We will manage it. We will manage it. Absolutely. Meanwhile, he busts his radiator, you know, the thing on the radiator that breaks off, the thing that we've never broken. In the meantime, he breaks one off, trying to get the battery in on his own. Yeah, no, we never do that. What are you doing? Keep that wire got caught up there because I started getting worried about the radiator. Too many things to worry about at once, so quite awkward to get in there on your own. Always worth having a helper if you can, or just undo the extra wire instead of be lazy and get that extra wire out of the way. Right, so okay, so that bit of rubber, just analysing it, not quite as wide as a battery, but wide enough. I like it, so it's going to stay there. We can get rid of the handle now, because we're not going to be lifting the battery too high. We're going to do a bit of manoeuvring around. This is going to reset everything in the vehicle. There's a little bit of other information towards the end. If you've hung around for this long video, we might as well keep going even further, right? So this is one of those ones where you need a 6-pack. So now might be a good time to press pause and go and grab another beer. Okay, the battery. Okay. What we'll do, we'll put the positive terminal on now, so then we've got an idea where it wants to sit. And we'll have a look if we can get this, make sure this battery hook is good. I think that's all good. Now this one didn't matter which way it went, I don't think. Notice we've got the caps on still, so that's helpful for see the situation where the battery would be wanting to connect itself, so we'd need to tuck this out of the way. Handy to have the cap on still. Okay, so then that'll go down. And hook it in from the battery side, pointing out away from the battery, please. We'll get that little impact driver and just zip that in a little bit, if that's the right size. And of course it's not, it's the 12 and we need the 13. So many different sizes for such a simple job. And we're not tightening it down, we're just nipping it up a little bit so that hopefully it doesn't fall out of position, but it might, because there's, I'll just show you, these are almost kind of like 90 degrees. They were, I think when I got them and installed them, I gave them about an extra few degrees just to give it a bit of more resistance to not cause any issues. You don't need to take the nuts right off, did you see that? You just put this in through the hole, down through under the body. This is what I was concerned about, jacking it up too much. It may not reach down to the hole, so we have to back the nut off a little bit more, and hopefully we'll get there. And we don't have to have too much of a change of plans. And take the rubber out because it's too thick. Should be alright. Should be alright, I think. Yep, we got in there, that's good. So by the time we get it in position and nip it, now what do we got here? That's all sitting in position. We only disconnected the 2 terminals. So we want to get the battery and the rubber and everything in a position that we're all happy with. Remember what we said before, we don't need a lot of room at this side of the battery. We want to get away from the radiator hose as much as possible, if possible. Only if possible. The last battery was sitting further to the side here. One reason for that is because the terminals are in from the corner a bit more on these batteries, the length of that earth. So what we might do now before we finalise the battery is connect it. So I think this is on a fairly good angle to the corner of the battery. No need, back is hitting the box, sides not, it's comfortable where it is. So we'll grab our little snap-on 10mm. Make sure the terminal's pushed all the way down, or as far as it will go. Yeah, that's all the way down. You know what, if it's not far enough, look how much meat we've got at the top. Keep it pressed down. Don't be one of these people that, I mean, once you start getting some pressure on it, which is coming any second, you know, just keep a bit of downward pressure, because the spanner may twist it and pull it up, and then it's not sitting exactly where you want it to sit, you know what I mean? So just keep a bit of... And what will happen now is your battery terminal is actually tight around the terminal, not because the terminal's tapered, and if you've got that connection at the top, then this will touch together and be tight at the bolt, but this connection won't be tight over the actual lead terminal. So again, you don't need to overdo it. That's probably enough, so I'll go a little bit more. Right. That's beautiful, and it's nearly all the way crushed. You know, I feel like I just want to give it a little bit more. You know, it's not a lot, but there's no need to overdo it. This is one of those things that's easy that's hard, because it's easy, but it's hard to just get it kind of perfect, you know. It takes a bit of experience and practice to go, yep. So we'll just cover that up straight away, because it's more of a safety thing, if we can anyway. If we can get that rubber back up where we want it. Come on, come on, get up there. Nicely covered up. Alright, we've got a few extra accessories there, so you get that, but that's how we want the positives, nicely covered up, so tools and things don't touch anything when anyone's working on the car, and short anything out. Now let's connect the accessory battery next before we connect the main battery, and we'll see a few sparks fly there because there's a few voltmeters and things like that going on. So let's have a look at the situation. How many sparks can we get here? Whoa, did you see that? Scary. Push it all the way down. What do we need there? Was it a 12 or a 13? I can't remember. This thing's a mess, isn't it? The amount of different size spanners for one job. I think it's a 13, so I'll grab the 12. Yeah. It'll be a, I should tell you the truth, it'll actually be, like I said, 1/2 inch, unmetric. I don't know why we still do unmetric, and there's all these unmetric things around. So that's probably enough. And when it's probably enough and it doesn't move, if you haven't noticed already, I'll go a little bit more. We're certainly not crushing, we're not going to crush the hell out of the lead, because it's just going to crush it and rip it to pieces. There's going to be no strength left there, and then you go to get the terminal off, you loosen it off, and you're too lazy to open it up like we did earlier. Then it catches on the lead, and you're wiggling and yanking around, it busts the terminal off, and then you're going, oh, you know, these Optimas are crap, or whatever brand your battery is. You blame the battery, not what you've done. Okay, so that's all done. They're all well secured, other than we're going to add some zip ties and tidy. You could probably get away without it because there's no heavy wiring there, but we're going to put a zip tie here, we're going to put another zip tie here. We'll get our solar down there tucked out of the way, ready to plug in if we want to use that. We may even pull that Anderson plug out and reconnect that and put the Anderson plug on the back of the car. The reason we took it off, because it was something that could get hit and we weren't using it, but it could allow for better access for charging using the solar panels, hanging the lead straight back off the roof into the plug at the back, although this is more direct to the battery. So let's leave that there. I should think about connecting that Anderson plug though, but you know what, I'll connect the other end first, so we'll do that another day. That's not this job. Is this the longest battery replacement video you've ever seen? If you have, please press the thumbs up button. Maximum detail battery replacement video. Okay, so that battery, I've decided I want to get it over this way a little bit more again, not too much. All right. And that will mean the battery support. You need to sort of move it back and forward like that to get the central point, so you know where you're tightening it up. Okay, the rubber's good. Nice and neat. Both sides. We'll just have a look for a minute. Yeah. I'm very happy with that. Does that look pretty square to everybody else here? Does that look straight and square from everyone else's position? Just pretending it's like I've got a couple of people here helping me out. Yep, everybody says it's okay. Oh, what have I done? Oh, hang on, I've changed sizes. Guess what? For once we've actually got the same size. I don't have to change sizes. Okay. Okay. Just long enough, that one. Remember, there's quite thick rubber here, and it's going to stretch down a lot. It's going to squash down a lot, not stretch. Compact, compact. See, I'm just trying to do a little bit at a time and wobble it back and forth to make sure I've got that central point where it's tightening down. Still moves. If I can move it, it's not that tight. Don't worry about the clicks, I'm watching how much the socket's turning. You can get your ratchet out if you like. And I reckon we're about where we want to be anyway, because you know, the rubber will squash down a little bit and then service will check it again anyway. We can't move that battery. It's going to be quite grippy on the bottom. I'll probably have to loosen it again anyway to get the zip ties under the battery. Anyway guys, finally, if possible, we need to connect this last battery terminal. Watch for the sparks, guys. Watch this. Didn't see any. That's because that's how we roll. We like to get it on cleanly if possible and not let it pop up like that. So you're a bit limited there. So that's where you need to pull your battery closer to this side if you find you've got an issue. And there has been people mention that before. So you do need to see that one. That's kind of like a bit stretched out. So we will probably loosen those off now. I'm not going to tighten this up yet because it's actually not quite to the bottom and giving myself a bit more space with these. So that's why. I'll just back it off a bit more even. Start all over again. That's why it was obviously back this way a bit more in the first place. A, that's where I want it, and B, it's just going to give a bit more play in this wire so we can, might even back this one off a bit more just to make sure the terminal's open enough. You know, I went a fair way when we took it off before, but let's go even further and get that terminal all the way down, well, as far as it'll go anyway. I reckon that's pretty well down. Let's go, let's back it off a bit more and see if we can, no, that's all the way, that is it. So with that pointing in the direction that gives the cable a bit of free play, we'll nip this one up nicely. See the other hand holding it down so it doesn't, because I'll let it go in a minute. If you're not holding it and you're just going like that, every time you wiggle it, it comes up slowly and then you're not all the way to the bottom. So you need to, until you've got some tension on it, and then always check it by, wait till the battery's secured later, right? But look, we've got a bit of movement there in the cable, so that's good, right? We don't need a lot, so I'm happy with where the battery's sitting now, once again. So we'll go back to actually we'll get the zip ties. Whereas I'll roll this to the end, I'll get some zip ties. Can I have a drink first? A bit dry in here, too much talking. The long version, replacing batteries. Okay, zip ties, where are the zip ties? I need to hit up someone for some zip ties. Who's got some zip ties for me? Maybe not the size that I wanted, but who's my current zip tie supplier? I can't remember. So, just going to pop one there. And another one here. I think that's all I need on this battery. more or less-ish. Spread them apart a little bit. Maybe put them sort of where they were-ish. Around about, we're going to have them finish off around there or around there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. So you know what, we'll just give those a bit of a, because they probably won't move after I tighten this down. So, back to this. But, instead of being lazy, trying to be quick, if you've been around this long, I'm sure you're going to hang around and let's get this done by hand. Get these straight up and down. Where they need to be, straight up and down. That's right. 13s, not 12s. And these actually might actually be Metrican, not Mexican, Metrican. Right. Give it a wobble to make sure we're in a central area. Not really any such thing as over tightening here. The amount of thick rubber we got there, nothing's going to hurt the battery. The reason the rubber works, besides absorbing the vibration, it's going to help. You know, if you've got a hard surface on a hard surface, it's a fine line between being too loose and too tight, damaging the battery. When you've got a nice soft pad underneath, not only does it absorb the vibration, you sort of crush into it a little bit, so it's not going to be damagingly tight, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Okay. Do I know what I mean? This side or that side? Yes. Well, another zip tie down here where it was before. Let's hope we haven't forgotten anything. We're going to have to do the window procedure on this because the battery's been disconnected. A lot of things are going to get reset and relearn, being disconnected so long. So, that's alright though. The window procedure. If you need to know the window procedure, search on my channel, the window procedure. I reckon you might find a video on that. And if you don't, I'm going to search it myself at the end of this. And if I don't find a video, and I might need to edit it, and I'll put in the description the window procedure, seen as in this video I would have thought it's called the window procedure. So if it's not, we've got problems. So we'll either do another one if it's not there, and if it's there, and if it's good, and if I can do my windows from that video, then that is the video, right? I'm happy enough with that. Are you happy with that?
Yep.
So you guys, I've got other little voices I can put on. That battery's not moving. Are you happy that it's tight enough? It's not going anywhere? Or should I nip it a bit more? Because I reckon if I push hard enough, no. Let me just, yeah, no, it's not moving. Okay. Right, we've got a bit of wire there, that's good, that's all tight, secure. Just double check it. Oh yeah, what about this clip, guys? Remember the clip on the cable? Factory, mate, clipped on now, yep. That's that one done. That one's good. Just double check all your wires, yeah, okay. There's two there. That goes into there. I didn't yank that and wreck that out. That's good, that's good. Everything I can see is good. Didn't damage anything, knocking anything out here. The part. Okay. Do we have all this connected up here? Tuck that wire into there. And there's some plugs there ready to go. They were all tight, weren't they? This, I can still move that, so we're going to give that a bit more curry. What size was that again? Okay. And they may squash down, so they may need more tightening again later, you know. They're not going to go in this tray, it's not going to go anywhere, but it's important to look after batteries that they are secure for safety and for their own safety, so they don't bounce around. Bouncing around could damage them. Some batteries definitely. These, I don't know, I reckon you could probably play footy with them for an AFL season and it'd still work. You know, I think that'll do for now. I'll just feel this one. Oh, that one, that's right, I've got the under and over thing. Okay. Lucky that's a nylock, otherwise I wouldn't be happy with that space there. The good news about how it was before was actually there's quite a bit of rubber under this, so I don't mind if I give it a little bit extra. Okay. Yep, that's good. And that nearly moves, and that battery is secure as anything. I can't move that battery or this battery. I don't reckon if my life depended on it. So I'm happy with that. Just need to put a couple of zip ties. That's why I didn't tighten that up, because I was meant to look, because I had to loosen off to put some zip ties under there, didn't I? Jeez, God, I'm a pain to myself sometimes. Okay, 2 more zip ties. And this video is going to be complete, and it's catered for those people that are not mechanics, technicians, diesel fitters, auto electricians, whatever, to give you the maximum information, because a lot of you said that's what you want. Look at that, I didn't have to loosen this side up. Beautiful, that is bloody beautiful. So if I can, I'll get all of these. Into that, see how this works out. Sometimes I'll zip tie and I'm not happy, and I'll come back later and zip tie again later, so okay, that's pretty good. And another one, yeah. Amazing the zip ties fit under on each side. Go a bit further that way under this. You know what, I'll just leave it back this side, it was happier. Not sharp, mate, it's flat on the end, come on. It's down, it's out of your way. Just don't put your sharp zip ties up there where I'm working, mate. Nobody's touching that, no problem. Oh, mate, we've got spectators turned up now. Oh, just in time to pick on my work. Beautiful, and that's good because we've zip tied each side of the joint. Right, you like that at least, yeah? Okay. I could pull those tight with pliers, but I don't need to. And again, nobody's working anywhere near those, but I'm still going to cut them off flush and flat, not on an angle. They will be just fine. And I must say, unless I forgot something, where's my little clippy thing actually? Oh yeah, we want to have him, he belongs up here. Let's do the, oh, let's not connect them because they'll stay connected. No, we want to hear it start on this battery, don't we? So we'll just leave that there. That's where I'll leave that. Okay. Everything back in. So I reckon in this video, if you've been around this long, we gave it all a good clean up, sprayed a bit of inox on a few things as well. If you look at that too, brand newies, look at that. Okay, let's open the roller door and hit the start button and see what it sounds like compared to the old batteries. Okay, shan't be a moment. 40 minutes to put 2 batteries in. Imagine how much I would charge for a dual battery install, installing the batteries, the trays, the wiring, mate, you'd be thousands of dollars. That's why I just can't do it. For this job, taking them out, cleaning everything up and putting it back like that, that's got to be, couldn't be less than 150, 200 bucks. If I said to someone $150, $200 to replace 2 batteries for you, they'd go, mate, you're a rip-off, you're on drugs. Anyway, this is what this video is for. It's just demonstrated to you how long it takes, and the cleaning and checking the wires and everything wasn't even included in the video. Let's hit the start button and see what a brand new Optima sounds like. Key on for 2 seconds. No difference. No difference. Wow, no difference. That other red battery, good as new. Let's start it again. Let's have a listen again. Okay, I got to tell you guys, absolutely awesome, these Optimas. They just got better again. I've got a couple other videos on these. Check them out. The easiest way is to search my channel. Just write the word Optima and you'll get all the videos that got anything to do with an Optima battery will come up. Yes, I think, what was it called? New Optimas discount. Does anyone remember a video recently? What was it called? Something like that. Anyway, guys, I hope you like that, showing you all the detail. You want to come over and have a closer look at everything again, do you? Whatever, yeah, we can do that. Let me just see for a minute. Hang on. Here we go. Let's come over here and have a closer look what's going on. See that one? We put there, see the thick rubber? It's quite thick, right? It's about, that rubber's about 10 mil thick, but took us right to the end of the rod. See the nylock? Yeah, just made it on, only just, I tell you, so be careful of that one. Secured wires with zip ties, nicely around, not rubbing on anything. Nice tight terminals pushed all the way down. This wire here, not stressed out too much. Alright, this one connecting to that one, all nice, neat, tight, bang. Bada bing, bada boom, we're out of here. Hope you like that, guys. If you haven't already, sure you have. If you watched this long, you'll definitely subscribe with the bell on. Awesome, appreciate your support. And if you watch this long and you're not, well, subscribe and turn the bell on because there's better videos than this. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your support. Bada bing, bada boom.